Hello, hi, happy Monday. I can't believe start of the week. Where are we? Almost at the end of May, and the weather's more like it's more like the winter. Never mind. Today we are going to bring you some sunshine from Italy, and Livia's back. She's back home, and she's going to be cooking for us, which is great, and giving us some ideas and some inspiration what to cook for the week ahead. So, where's Livia?
Eccomi
Eccola.
qua. Ecco.
How are
Ciao, ciao.
you? How are
Very
you?
well. After a week away.
I know you've been traveling. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it really doesn't matter wherever you go.
Mhm.
It's just exciting to be away from home. Everything
Absolutely.
seems to be different, and you appreciate places that maybe you never consider. So I'm very happy. Actually, I've been to Liguria, as you know, and it was really beautiful, perfect with no tourists at all.
Yeah.
It was just great, really. You
Yeah.
cannot imagine how nice it is to visit places at this moment in our century,
Yeah.
where there are not a lot of, let's say, people that come from very far,
Yeah.
like maybe Chinese, or I don't know, all these kind of tourists that fill up places, small places like Cinque Terre are, that I've never visited before. So I was very
Yeah.
excited, but it's really
Yeah.
been beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
I spoke to somebody last week, and he was in Venice, and he was saying he was in some museum in Venice, and he was like the only person in this whole museum. So yeah, it sounds like if
beautiful,
you are
yeah.
traveling just now, then actually, yeah, it's a completely different experience as to normal. But your pictures looked lovely, Livia. You did a really lovely live from Florence last week with your
Yeah,
mum. That
yeah,
looked great.
yeah. That's why, since I always think about my family, my mother. So I thought, when you travel a little bit, then you think, should I take her somewhere? So maybe she open her brain a little bit wider. I don't know. So I thought to take her to Florence, because that's really a place that always full of tourists, and it was really nice. Actually, we went there to see an iris flower show, let's say,
Oh.
very small in comparison to your beautiful British flower show, but because the lily that's considered to be the symbol of Florence is not actually a lily, but is an iris.
Ah.
Iris, I don't know. Yeah, so that's why there, under Piazzale Michelangelo, they have this beautiful hill full of these iris flowers, different varieties, different breeds. No, come si dice? Breed? No, sorry. I should know it because that's what I've studied. Vabbè, different cultivations.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. But also it was beautiful to wander around Florence with not a lot of people. And here the weather is not too hot, but it's warm, as you can see where it is. But it's a little bit rainy, like maybe for you. So sometimes there are the usual maybe spring showers that they were in the past and disappeared for a while, and now they're back, which I'm
Yeah.
happy about. But
I know.
so
I remember being in Florence. There's an amazing ice cream shop just behind the Duomo. I think it was called Grum, and they just had amazing ice cream. Actually, like so many millions of different varieties. So yeah, look forward to being back there. But listen, Libby, we better not blather on. What are you cooking today? What's in the
yeah.
menu?
Before starting to show you a few recipes from Liguria, I thought to do this recipe from Sicily, actually, that we filmed with Pasta Granny a while ago, a year ago, actually, and then I've been cooking since then, which is a different version from usual, from the well-known one of melanzane alla parmigiana. You can actually call it Parmigiana di melanzane, and the origin of the name is a little bit different from what we usually think. A lot of people, most of people think that Parmigiana comes from Parmigiano and that you have to use a lot of Parmigiano to make it. Actually, this is not true. It comes from Sicily originally. It seems like this is the most similar to reality option that we have to consider the origin of Parmigiana this way. And mainly it comes from the dialect in Sicilian. So let's say Parmigiana, per Parmigiana with C, from the dialect, it reminds you of shutters. The window shutters, actually. They are the name of wooden sticks, let's say, that put close to each other, okay, but not really on top of each other, but just slightly covering the light from each other, will create a shadow in your room when you close them. So in dialect, they are the shatters. So that's the way you should put your aubergine sliced and fried when you want to create the first layer and the last layer of melanzane alla parmigiana. So you fry the aubergine and then you place them in this position similar to what are shatters with their little pieces of wood close to each other. Okay, so that's the origin, and the origin of melanzane alla parmigiana is maybe they think 15, and actually in the 15th century, aubergine were brought in Europe, so in Sicily, from the Arabic, from the Arabic culture. The Arabic import them from India, actually. And in the 1800s, Artusi already talked about melanzane, and he called them mela insana, so like a strange apple, because actually a melanzana has quite a strange shape. As you can see, we got one here. So the best way to learn how to make melanzane alla parmigiana is actually Sicily, because that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I'm sure Carla would say that too.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm sure she would be very happy if she's watching. Maybe not, Antonio won't be very happy, but no, in general, this is a southern recipe because aubergine, that's where they are produced mainly. And but the cheese that you use doesn't have to be really mozzarella, okay? It is mozzarella in Naples area. So Naples started the tradition to cook this dish adding mozzarella, but a lot of other cheeses are used in this recipe where when I learn how to make it. And the main one is pecorino, which is the cheese that is usually produced in the south, because sheep cheese, it was really very wide production. Then nowadays we use also Parmigiano, and the granny that we have filmed was using a melting cheese that we consider is very cheap in Italy, but that's, grannies usually use cheap ingredients, which are called sottilette, which are a thin layer. How do you call them, Lorna? They are the one that you put in your hamburger.
Yeah. Slices, cheese slices.
Yeah. Okay. And instead, I'm going to use some of this cheese that you just slice and it melts easily. Or you could use Emmental, that is a good substitute, or any other melting cheese. Also, in this today, since I have it, I'm going to use also some mozzarella, but it doesn't mean that mozzarella has to be the basic ingredient. So when we make the modern recipe now, usually we make it with mozzarella, a lot of tomato. The version that I've just learned from Granny, it's really completely different, and it's not cooked in the oven. And to explain you why, I mean, the main reason is in the past, and we're talking about beginning of the century, there were no electric oven in the house. So there were just a wood-fired oven outside where they used to cook bread and make, bread dough and cook it to survive for the weeks. And obviously they would not think about cooking an aubergine bake in the wood-fired oven outside, So the stove option of cooking melanzane alla parmigiana is really a good option, especially if you live in a very hot country, let's say region like Sicily or the south of Italy. It is so it makes for sure it doesn't warm up your atmosphere, or it doesn't warm up too much the kitchen if you, like it happens if you light the electric oven. So this is just to explain you why this version is not invented, is not a modern version, but is the traditional way to make aubergine bake, or chiamiamoli parmigiana di melanzane, okay, from the dialect, which is actually easier because you don't even have to turn on the oven, but you just have to cook it on the hob.
Okay. So aubergine
is very long.
Yeah, you must have guessed it's my favorite. So do you just, how do you start? You just slice up the aubergines then and let them...
Yeah, now I got everything to show you. I got also, as you can see there, ingredients ready, because I cannot make this less too long and boring then. So just to show you. So when you have an aubergine like this, you will take off the top, and okay, not the end, because it doesn't have any end, okay? And then we have to peel it. Let's say this is what I've learned from the Granny that we film, and I think it's very smart. If you use a potato peeler and you take, si dice strips, Lauren, sorry, my brain have a problem with strips and stripes. So you take, you peel it like this, alternating, si può dire, pieces where there's the flesh of the aubergine without the skin and part of it with the skin on, okay, just like this. Then when you will build your melanzane alla parmigiana, you will have each slice will be different. Some of it will have the skin on and part of it will without. That way, it won't be a too big amount of skin close to each other, but they will be able to get close to each other better. And can I say clink? I don't know, like
hold on to,
hold on better and easier. So we slice the aubergine at about ½ centimeter thickness.
And you slice your aubergines lengthways then?
Lengthways, yeah. This is because he has to cover, you have to think that we want to cover the base of a non-stick pan, and we want to, you know, don't have to have all small round slices that would just make it longer, more difficult to cover the surface. This way, okay, you will see that part of these aubergine slices will have the skin on and part of it without. So I will be able to make them cross like this to hold on together better, okay, easier. So the reason why now we coat them with salt mainly is not because of the bitterness, okay, to release the bitterness like it used to be in the past, but it's because this way, when you deep fry an aubergine, it doesn't absorb too much oil. So leaving them with some salt for about 10, 15 minutes will make them release all their water. This, I've done it maybe 5 minutes ago, and as you can see, there are already some water coming off. So less watery aubergine, less chance they will absorb too much oil. So I will leave them here while we pass to the next step, which is another important ingredient of this recipe is some potatoes. Okay, so you just have to peel. This is the way I've learned it. You know, you can skip them if you want to make it lighter, but I think potatoes sliced about ½ centimeter thickness will give a bit more consistency and less fat in this preparation, I think. So the potatoes sliced quite thin, okay? And now we are I'm going to turn on the hob, the fire, under the pan I will use to fry these vegetables, okay? So I don't want to burn anything, so just to show you how much you have to fry them, okay? I'm using olive oil, okay? And that's because the aubergine, as we were saying, absorb a lot of oil, so it's not deep frying them. Sorry, I think I've used the wrong term earlier. It's mainly really softening them, frying them, gently frying them. They don't have to be deep fried in a lot of oil. They will absorb oil and then release it. So it would be better if we use extra virgin olive oil, or anyway olive oil, because most of it will be in the pan, you know, like in the melanzane alla parmigiana, it won't leave it. So that's why it's important, it's a good quality of oil. While we wait that it gets warmer, I prepare the cheeses that will be used to layer the aubergine bake.
So for anybody, Livia, so for anyone who's just joined in, this is your variation of aubergine bake. So not only have we got the aubergines in layers, but you're also going to put the potato, sliced potato, in the layers as well.
Yes, there are just some potatoes that will cover the holes between the cheeses, because I'm not going to cover the layer with cheeses. You know, I'm just going to place some bits of slices of cheeses that will melt gently, and it won't make too much liquid coming out from the melanzane alla parmigiana, which is usually the problem. When you make melanzane alla parmigiana, you fry them and the oil is released after. When you cook them in the oven, all the oil comes out, and then it's like, looks a little bit like a disaster because it's full of oil, because the oil that's been used to fry, especially if you didn't place the aubergine with salt like we've just done, it will be released when it cooks in the oven. And then you have the idea that aubergine bake is very heavy because it's full of oil, right? So this way, cooked in the oven, on the hob, is much lighter, and the cheeses are not grated, but usually they are left in big pieces. So as we were saying, the cheeses that we use are slices of Parmigiano, which is quite a modern invention, let's say, because Parmigiano was not a Sicilian cheese, if we think about beginning of the century, right? So Parmigiano is a modern...
Would they use them sort of caciocavallo or something in Sicily?
Yes, sure. Also, same as they do in Amalfi, they don't really use Parmigiano, but they use a cheese that melts easily and the cheese that they produce mainly. So caciocavallo is a very good option, but pecorino is what usually really they use more, because there is a lot of sheep cheese in this southern country. If you think about, for example, Puglia, Lorne, where you usually go, you realize that they produce a lot of pecorino. And every time we use Parmigiano, grated Parmigiano in their recipes now, you have to think that is a modern come si dice aggiunta? It's a new thing, invention, because they use not to have for sure Parmigiano. So we're going to do slices of pecorino and slices of Parmigiano. I prepared already some here, okay? Slices of pecorino and slices of Parmigiano. Then I got some mozzarella, but the mozzarella that I'm using is not too soft and is not too liquid. The way to make it like this is just to take it out from the package that you buy it into. It's usually, since it's a young cheese, is bought to be consumed young, so it doesn't have to get old, it doesn't get matured, it doesn't create a skin, right? So that's why it's kept in water. If you take it out of the package, it will dry. And that way it will release most of its water, which is also what creates a lot of liquid in the aubergine bake when you cook it in the oven. Okay, so this is, I've kept it out. It's actually called nodino because it is a little knot, okay? We don't produce it here, so it comes from the south. And then this cheese that melt, just to do it like the granny that we film used to do it. You know, grannies usually use very cheap ingredients, but ingredients that work well. Okay. This is, I think, a modern invention in the recipe, because for sure sottilette used not to be in the recipe, for sure in the past, but I think originally it was really just pecorino, grated pecorino and slices of pecorino, okay, and no Parmigiano at all. Okay, so these are the cheeses that we're going to use to build melanzane Parmigiana. Now I'll show you how to fry until you know how we fry them, how hard we fry them, let's say. So first, there is going to be some aubergine that I got here. Obviously, after you have coat them with salt, if you leave them enough, the salt will go down, and you just need, you know, you won't really actually physically see it on the slice, like the one that I've done a few minutes ago. As you can see, keep releasing a lot of water. Okay. Yeah. So you just use some paper to clean it from the too much salt that we don't want to contain. Okay. In the aubergine bake, just a little bit, and then the oil is ready. So I'm going to start frying. Sorry, because the temperature is quite high. I cool it down, adding a bit. I add a little bit of oil to cool it down. Otherwise, my phone would go on fire. Also because there's some water in the aubergine, obviously, even if I clean it a bit with some paper. Okay.
Just a couple of hellos. So Minette's watching us. Hi, Minette, nice to see you. Caroline's there, Jane's there. Hi, Anton. I think Liz there as well, and Val as well. It's nice to see everybody on
well, that's good, because we left them. Yeah, we left them for 2 weeks, but they are still there following us. So.
And Francesco's giving us some, yes, he's just checking our Italian's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Allora, one side. Now, you know, to cool down the temperature of the oil because it went too high,
Yeah.
I've add some other oil, obviously, and that way I'm not burning them. Otherwise, you should always leave them on one side until that side is well cooked, okay?
Yeah.
And then just turn them over after. So I got this special tool that I'm not sure. I think maybe I showed you a few times ago, but I bought it in Naples at the market, and for sure I'll show it to the guests. We've done the lessons, the aperitivo lessons. So this is to drain the oil. Okay, so when you deep fry something, you got this with holes in the center. If you place the ingredients, you just fry you know, what you have just fried on the side, the oil will drain down in the bottom. So it's really a special tool that I've never seen anywhere else than there.
No. What's it called, Lydia? Has it got a name?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Scola, no, non lo so. I bought it at the market, really. They were a very big one, and I got a small one. And you know that I like to buy everything new when I go to different. So, I'm going to add also some potatoes now to fry, just because, as you've seen, I have them already cooked. So the potatoes don't have to be burned, so they have to cook not too high flame, because otherwise you risk to make a crust and burn them outside and don't cook them in the center, in the flesh. So for that reason, we're cooking them not too high flame because we want them to get a bit softer. So you should use a fork to check that the aubergine are ready. So if you see that the fork can go through easily, they are softer, then they are ready. Don't have to be very dark, just have to be, as you can see, this color. Okay, so we place them here to drain. Since I told you I got some already cooked. Okay.
Yeah, someone was just commenting quite often when we make melanzane alla parmigiana on the cooking classes in Amalfi or in Puglia, we quite often flour and egg the aubergine before we bake them. We fry them, sorry.
Yeah, that's maybe for them not to release too much oil or not sure. Yeah, but for sure this is a very different version. It's not cooked in the oven, and it makes it quite lighter. And we try to get rid of the exceeding oil. Can I say it? I don't know.
Excess oil. Yeah,
excess oil. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see, the potatoes might seems to be ready, so that's why I blow down the temperature, because actually they just getting dark, but the fork cannot go through easily, so we don't want them to be burned. So the oil temperature was too high, also because I'm not cooking too many. I should cook a little bit more now to low down the temperature of the oil for them to cook more relaxed, you know, like more, because this way they're cooking too high and they make them crunchy inside, but raw crunchy outside and raw inside. When the fork can go through easily, they are ready.
Yeah. And there's no benefit in sort of pre-cooking the potatoes a little bit, no?
They, if you cook them not too high flame, that's the way to cook them, you know. Then they got the same flavor as the aubergine, because they're cooking in the same oil, which is, as we were saying, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so comunque, I got all the ingredients ready to start building melanzane alla parmigiana. Do you think, Lauren, it's fine if we prepare it? I prepare it here. I'm just going to do layers. Okay. Okay, so we got the ingredients ready.
And just remind you, this is just a melanzane alla parmigiana. That's the name of the dish.
Okay, so we got all the cheeses are here.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes it slightly different from usual is the fact that we are going to use some Parmigiano and some breadcrumbs, or actually grated pecorino would be more precise, you know, the ingredients that they usually use in Sicily, in the pan, in the non-stick pan. I'm making a small one, as you can see here. So to give it some crunchiness on the outside of the aubergine bake, I'm going to sprinkle some breadcrumbs. These are really just breadcrumbs. Okay, they will be kept together by a cheese that will melt and will keep the the breadcrumbs together. So actually mine is grated Parmigiano, but it should be grated pecorino to stick to the right recipe. Okay, just some grated pecorino, and then we're going to sprinkle some oil, not too much because we wanted to make a crust.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so just this amount.
Mm-hmm.
So breadcrumbs, grated cheese, and some oil that will make it be crunchy and with a crust. Okay, now we're going to start the layer with some melanzane. Okay. And as I was saying, see, this doesn't have a skin, this got the skin. So if I make them alternate them, okay, then they will hold on to each other better.
Mm-hmm.
And I overlap them a little bit like persiane do, which is shutters. Yeah. Okay. I create the base of the aubergine. So the base just have to be aubergine. Okay. There is a hole here, so I'm trying to cover it this way. Okay. Okay. Now it's time to add first a few cheeses, and I'm using some pecorino slices. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you grate it, you risk that it melts too much. We're not cooking this in the oven. We want it to be easily sliced, these aubergine bakes. So that's why we are adding cheeses that are sliced, which is easier, faster, and also give more consistency to the melanzane parmigiana. Then some potatoes in the holes where there are, where there's space. We want to make a layer, adding the potatoes where there is actually space. Okay, I got some more here. Not a big, thick layer of potatoes. It's just some to cover where there is space, actually. Okay. E poi I'm going to get tomato passata here, which is just a passata. You can use, if you made your own passata, or actually this passata, I've made it cooking plum tomatoes with some oil, some garlic, and some, actually not even basil, okay? Just reducing it and making more consistent. So instead of adding a lot of it, that will make it very liquid, I'm just doing some little...
we say dollop in English.
Yeah,
dollops.
Ecco,
Dollops,
dollop.
yeah.
Thank you, Lord.
Dollop.
Okay. And actually, I'm adding it on top of the potatoes. This is my idea, because I think potatoes need to cook a little bit longer. So the liquid will make them a bit more softer. Okay. And then it's time to add also some basil. Okay.
Even just visually, even just to look at it, it just looks so appetizing. The colors and the reds, and it just looks really lovely.
Good.
Almost too good to eat.
Very good. Then I add some of the melting cheeses in the places, where I got space, like some slices of would be sottiletta or emmental or any other cheese. And then you can also add, if you have it, but as I was saying, it's not really a basic ingredient, mozzarella. It's a basic ingredient in the Napolitan version of aubergine bake. That's where they use a lot of quality of fior di latte and aubergine and tomato passata. That's the main ingredient. Here, really, I think pecorino, slice of pecorino, is more than important than than mozzarella. Okay, then I'm going to do another layer using the aubergine that I previously, because it should be, let's say, 3 layers. Okay.
So Francesco's in agreement. We've got agreement from the south of Italy. This is how grannies make it, and this is definitely the way to cook. So yes, we're ticking the box. Livia. That's good.
Well, that's the reason why I do pasta grannies, is because I want to learn from them, and I really think it's very important. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can decide to do another layer. Usually 3 layers should be the perfect, amount of layers. Here I've prepared a lot of cheese, but actually I'm just going to finish off with this. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it on. You can do 3 layers, I would say. So you could add some more tomato passata, some more cheeses, some more. But what I'm doing now is just show you how to make it. But I got it ready. I made it a few hours ago to show you to make it. So now we are going to turn on the hob, not to high flame under, okay?
Yeah.
And this will make it crunchy, and will make it create like a little crust, let's say, under, that will allow us to turn it over, and turn it over using a dish, you know, and then place some other breadcrumbs under and create the crust also on the other side. And this way we have avoided to use the oven, which in a southern country, it is quite important, because you used to have not an electric oven, but just a wood-fired oven to cook bread. So, quindi Lorna, tell me something very important. Have you been in Scotland? Have you been in our new beautiful venues in Scotland, where I would like to come one day? In Ely? Have you been to Ely? I've seen you posted pictures, maybe. No.
Yes. We were in Ely. Yeah, staycations happened. They were really, first one was really successful, and we've just launched new Scottish staycations in July and August. So it went out on Friday night, and I think by the end of today they'll all be fully booked. So yeah, everyone's desperate to get away. We did a selection, some cooking, some Pilates, some kind of just taster. So yeah, we've got a lovely new retreat venue on the banks of Loch Lomond, and we've been given that exclusively for July and August. So yeah, it was really popular actually. Nearly all our amicis have booked it. Yes, it's nice.
I think that's the best place to go. Maybe painting, or for example, I think that should be beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, Hugh comes from there, and that's why maybe his eye is. He has a eye of a good painter, because he lives in a beautiful place with beautiful views.
Yeah, I know. Actually, Hugh starts next month. We're at a castle outside Edinburgh. We've got some purely painting breaks there, and they're all full as well. So yeah, Hugh's going to be leading some of those, and Mark as well. So busy with painting, busy with staycations. So yeah, the pressure's on to find more staycation venues, definitely. And
and is Louise going to be the cook? Of all of them? No.
Not all of them.
You have another cook?
Yeah, we have got another cook. Actually, Louise is cooking. Actually, if anyone's looking to cook with Louise, she's doing a quiche. She's cooking on Wednesday. I think she's got one of our Scottish food lessons on Wednesday online. If anyone's keen to cook with Louise, actually, that's another one to
I can see her lessons are always very satisfying for everyone, because I can see a lot of pictures of beautiful prepared dishes.
She's coming down on Saturday, and we're doing some filming actually in our kitchen. Actually, finally, the Flavours kitchen is going to get used, and she's going to be filming some baking for us that then we can put on the on-demand courses as well. So that's busy filming at the weekend. Yeah, which should be good. And you're back, Livia, doing your online classes too.
Meg, and I can't wait to do a new recipe from what I learned in Liguria. But we are back with the aperitivo, and so it's going to be summer aperitivo, even if neither here or there is summer, but also here, so don't worry. But actually, it's very, I miss it actually. I miss to have a contact of someone that appreciates you, which usually doesn't happen in my life.
It was good though. It's good you've been off in Liguria. You've been inspired with some new recipes, because that aubergine recipe, I've never ever seen that.
Yeah, it's been really great, because they cook with the ingredients that they produce really, and a lot of recipes with wild plants, or things that they collect. So we went, as I was saying last time, with this 91-year-old collecting all the herbs. So they have, for example, torta di riso, which is not sweet, it's savory, which is I never had it before, and I thought it was incredibly good, and I've learned it from a 90-year-old. Very simple recipes, things cooked in a different way that you would not think to cook them. And I've learned how to make trofie, which before I will be able to teach it to someone. I want to practice a little bit more, but it's very difficult to make trofie by hand. So, and even walnut pesto or different kind of pesto. There really they make pesto all the time. So, and it's actually good with green beans and potatoes, which I think last time, I'm not sure, when we made pesto we have cooked it that way. But very interesting. Comunque, while we're waiting, I just wanted to show you that when you are able to do this, and the aubergine bake, la parmigiana si stacca, detach from the sides, it's ready
yeah,
to
it's
be
loose.
turned.
Ah,
Also,
okay.
if you can hear it, I don't know if you can hear it. It makes like a crunch noise. I don't know, like, and that means that it's ready to be turned over. Okay, so I'm going to use un piatto. I'm going to turn it over. Okay, più o meno va bene. As you can see, it's crunchy on the side.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we are going to do the same. So we are going to sprinkle some. This is to show you all the procedure, and then turn off the flame under. I leave it on just for it to be easier, but turn it off, and then sprinkle some pecorino or parmigiano, and then some more oil, così, like we've done before, and then turn these. Okay, so this is one side, as you can see it, and now we cook the second side really for just 10 minutes. But anyway, I have it also ready, not to make you waste too much time.
Perfect. Thank you, Livia. Oh, wow. It looks delicious. That looks so tasty.
I made it this morning, and now I'm going to slice it. So I can show you what does it look like inside. Okay, so we can slice it here.
Everybody's saying it's looking yummy. Someone's saying, yeah, lovely, quick to rustle up. That's what we like. We like fast.
So you should, as you can see, there's no oil at all. It's not soggy. I don't know. It's not. I don't know how to describe it. Liquid is not coming off. You can have it cold, and it's actually really nice, even cold.
Delicious, yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like an omelette texture, isn't it?
Yes, you can slice it like this. And you can have it cold, which is really nice. You can keep it in the fridge. I think it's nicer the day after, actually.
Yeah. It'd be nice for a picnic, isn't it? If you're going off having a picnic with somebody, it'd be really nice food for picnics.
And you also, I think it really looks lighter than the one that we are used to know as melanzane alla parmigiana, which is not wrong. It's just a modern version of melanzane alla parmigiana, which, you know, the traditional one is from Sicily.
Yeah, no, delicious. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Livia. We'll pop the recipe up later.
Well, this one is cooking, but it's you know, if you want to see it, it just takes really, when you see it's detaching, actually it's already, I make, let's say, the cheese melt and get together with breadcrumbs. And then, obviously, before slicing it, I suggest you to leave it to cool, because otherwise you can break it easier, but this is the way it should be. So you can see it here. Yeah, and when you serve it, you should decorate it with some, come si chiama?
Basil.
Ovviamente basilico, ecco qua. So here we are with a slice.
You're always so good with your presentation, Livia.
Well, it makes a big difference, you know. Comunque, even just like this.
Buon appetito. Oh.
This is mainly aubergine with cheeses that don't have to come too far, or they don't have to be too strange, and it's based on melanzane. So, and not really on tomato, and not on parmigiano, like a lot of people think, but made on melanzane. And so, and there are some potatoes, but that's to give them a different consistency, keep it together better, and you can avoid them if maybe, you know, if you don't like them.
No, that's delicious. Thank you so much, Livia. That's great. I'll pop the recipe up as well just later if anyone wants to try it out. And normally people who are watching it, if they do make it, they usually post on Facebook and we can see what they've made. So no pressure.
I know, yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. Great. And listen, we're back again next Monday as usual. Have you got any inspiration for next Monday?
Yeah, I think I will do something from Liguria, but if anyone have always some ideas or something they would like to see, obviously they are welcome to write it and in the comments. But
that's super. Good. Enjoy the rest of your week, Livia. Thank you for our weekly dose of inspiration. And we'll catch up with you next Monday. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye now.